So my name is Rufus Matthew, and I'm a computer science junior here at Cedarville, and I'm from the Kingdom of Bahrain. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about like your family life, like the culture there, like what you kind of grew up with.
Yeah, that's a great question. So even though I'm from Bahrain, my family's from India. So most of my life I've lived in Bahrain, but my family rises from India. So I have like a mixed variety of background. Like I was exposed to the Middle Eastern culture, the Indian culture, the American culture. So Bahrain is like a hot spot, like a hot pot of like all these different cultures. So it's just truly diverse, which is incredible. So like that's my background. It's just experiencing different cultures and different people like constantly.
That's awesome. Yeah. So what was worship like in your culture, and how is it kind of different from what you've experienced here at Cedarville?
Yeah, that's a great question. So back in India, like or the Middle East, worship was much more conservative. Like it's not loud. They do not have too many lights. Or like the drums. There's like no drums. So it's like the piano or the guitar. Like, and for Sunday worship, you do not have any instruments. It's just very mellow, and it's more of hymns. So it's coming to Cedarville was a big shock. I remember my first chapel. I was actually with our hall, and we went to this chapel, and I was suddenly like, wait, what? And it was just incredible, but it was definitely different. Yeah.
So what are some of the other music genres that you like then, other than worship music, that you kind of grew up with or have come to like now, I guess?
Yeah, no, I love that question. I love indie. I love listening to indie music. I love listening to different languages music. So I love Arabic music or French. I like listening to French music. And I also just got into folk, like a little bit. It's an interesting genre. Like I'm not sure if I love it, but it's interesting to listen to.
That's awesome. So what were some of the main difficulties or transitions that you had to Cedarville? And like what did that look like, and how did you overcome that?
Yeah, that's a great question. You mean like cultural differences?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, or just adjustments to college in general as well.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the number one thing is language. I think language was very hard in the beginning, like to understand the American accent. I remember sitting in my calculus class and I was like, oh Lord, I have no idea what's happening. So I think over the semesters, like I learned better. I'm understanding it better now, but in the past it was much more difficult. But at the same time, it's also different when it comes to confrontation and all of those things. Like Americans are much more strongly well communicated, whereas the other languages are much more like they beat around the bush kind of thing. Like it takes a lot more time to get to the subject topic. Americans are more like, hey, let's get down to the business and let's get this down. That's something I'm still shocked about. I'm still learning. Yeah.
Gotcha. And so what have been some of your favorite parts of Cedarville in general then, and your experience here?
Yeah, man, I was just telling my friend today, like it's the people, like there's no doubt about it. It's just Cedarville attracts a certain kind of people. Like anybody at Cedarville, like all 4,500 of us, including the professors, staff, it's a certain kind of people that comes to Cedarville. And it's truly unique, like the creme de la creme, you know, like the cream of the crop. Like it's just the best, kindest, smartest, most hardworking people that you can find, who loves the Lord and who wants to do everything for the Lord. I think that's what makes it apart. Is you're all so good at what you all do, like what we all do, but we were so humble about it because we realize it's not us. And I think that's something the world looks at us and they're like, yeah, that is different. And I think they appreciate us for that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. That's awesome. So how did you hear about Cedarville initially in your culture, and how did you kind of end up here then? What was your decision process like?
Great question. When I was looking at universities, I had about 7 different countries and about 152 universities that I was looking at. Like literally I have a list of like 152 universities, and I looked at it for 2 years, and I chose Cedarville because of 3 reasons. Number one is their academic excellence. Like I'm an engineer and they have an incredible engineering program. Like it's so, like they push you to the edge. Sometimes I'm just like, oh Lord, what's happening? But like they push you, like they drive you to the edge, and they make sure that you're cutting edge. Second reason is Cedarville is a rare, true Christian university. Like it's so hard to find a true Christian university that doesn't just have Christian in their name. Like Christ is in the center of everything we do, and I think that's so unique and so incredible. And finally, they offered me a good scholarship, and I was like, money, perfect. So yeah.
Yep. So what are some parts of your culture that you kind of miss while being here at Cedarville, or something that's like you wish that you could still enjoy that you don't currently have at Cedarville?
That's a great question. I don't think this is a Cedarville thing. It just might be like a phase we are in life right now. Back home, it's much more chill. Like the conversations are much more longer. Like you talk about all kinds of things. Like it's more like you talk to somebody, you bring in other, like somebody walks by, they join the conversation, somebody walks by, they join the conversation. So it just becomes like a big like conversation rather than just one-on-one. Like you immediately join like a bunch of people. So like I kind of miss that because like it's a longer conversation, a lot more people, and you learn so much more and you spend much time. But obviously in college, you have so much happening, so you don't have the time for it. But also it's different when you're trying to like get to know one person individually. So I kind of miss that group dynamic. Yeah.